we are going to be looking at area. And as you can see by the learning objective today, we're going to be working out the area of rectilinear shapes. So, first of all, what is area? Area is the total amount of surface a 2D shape covers, so the inside of the shape. What do we measure area in? Well, area can be measured in square units. Often, these are usually measured in squared centimetres using cm per centimetres with a little 2 above to show that the number's been squared. We can also measure in squared metres, and we would show this unit of measure in metres squared, or squared kilometres, so kilometres squared. And what is a rectilinear shape? Well, a rectilinear shape is a shape with straight sides and it also has right angles. It usually looks like 2 or more rectangles that have been joined together. Okay, I'm going to now show you some examples of how to work out the area. Okay, now a Year 4 target is to be able to work out the area by counting squares. So, looking at the top then, my key here tells me that one of these squares is equal to 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. So based on that, my answers are going to be in centimetres squared. Right, number 1 then. I'm going to count all the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I know there's 5 squares in that row, I can continue to count in my 5s. So 10, 15, 20. So the area of shape number 1 is 20 centimetres squared. Don't forget to write your unit of measure as well. Okay, question 2. Same again, I'm going to count the squares inside the shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know I've got 2 equal rows of 7 and 2 7s are 14. So the area of this shape is 14 centimetres squared. Let's look at number 3. Now this is a very small shape here, quite an easy one to work out. I can see I've got 4 squares, so the area of shape 3 is 4 centimetres squared. And number 4, same again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can count in my 4, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32 centimetres squared. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we're going to be looking at rectilinear shapes. Now, I'm sure you can see in these 2 shapes, you can see different rectangles that look like they've been joined together. So it's the same idea again, we're counting the squares, just looks a little bit different. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the area for shape number 5 is 16 centimetres squared, exactly the same unit of measure. Okay, and the last shape then, another rectilinear shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the area is 18 centimetres squared. Okay, hopefully you're getting the hang of that now. I've got some examples for you to try. Okay, I'm going to give you the first 4 and then I've got another 2 as well. Now, it's up to you whether you want to use the screen and work out the areas from what you can see, or whether you want to copy down the shapes like I have. And remember, each square is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre, so your answers are going to be in centimetres squared, so don't forget that. Okay? Now you can pause the video and have a try. Okay then, hopefully you've had a go at that and you've got some answers. So let's have a check. So number one then, fairly straightforward rectangle. I can see I've got 2 equal rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 on the top row, 8 on the bottom row. And 8 times 2 I know is 16. 16 centimetres squared. Hopefully you remembered your unit of measure. Okay, shape number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Equal rows of 9, 9, 18, 27, 36. So the area to shape 2 is 36 centimetres squared. Now, it doesn't matter how you count the squares. I just think it's easier to count them in rows going across. If you counted downwards, that's absolutely fine. Okay, this L shape then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the area for this one is 9 centimetres squared. Okay, getting a little bit more complicated. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can see there's another row of 6 there. So that's 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. The area is 29 centimetres squared. Right, I've got a couple more rectilinear shapes for you to have a go at. So you may want to pause the video now and have a go. Okay, right then, let's have a look at shape number 5. So, if I was to count the squares, I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So 28 centimetres squared is my answer to number 5. And lastly, let's have a look at number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 2 rows of 5, that's 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 centimetres squared is my answer to that one. Okay, right then, what we're going to do now is have a look at some examples of shapes with measurements, because sometimes, and in real life, if you're trying to work out an area, maybe to the measurements of a certain room, you're not going to have squares to count, so you may need to measure. And if this was a room, you would have to measure the length and the width of the room to work out your area. So let's have a look at these examples. And I've just said at the top here, the shapes are not to scale. So for example, this line here, that doesn't really measure 4 metres, it's just as an example. Okay, right, if I've got 4 metres here, 6 metres here, I'm going to times the length by the width, so 4 times 6, and that's going to give me the area. So it's really important to remember that length times width equals area. Okay, now make sure you don't get this confused with perimeter. Perimeter is where we add the lengths. We are not working out the perimeter, we're working out area. So 4 times 6, I'm going to write it down. 4 metres times 6 metres is 24 metres. Now, hopefully you've remembered what my answer needs to be in. It needs to be a squared unit of measure, So it's 24 metres squared is the area to shape number 1. Shape number 2 then. The measurements here are 9 metres by 10 metres. That's a nice easy one. And that is 90 metres squared. Okay, let's have a look at shapes number 3 and 4. Now these are a little bit more complicated, these rectilinear shapes here. So what I'm going to need to do to work them out is split them into rectangles. Now I can see that in shape 3 I've got 2 clear rectangles. So I'm going to work out the area of this rectangle and then work out the area of this rectangle. So 4 times 1 is 4 centimetres squared. And then this rectangle here is going to be 4 by 1. I'm not going to times the 6 because remember, look, the 6 is this whole length across the bottom, and I don't want to know what the whole length is. I'm only trying to work out this bit here. So 4 times 1 is 4 again. Now, to get the area of the whole shape, I need to add my 2 areas together. So the overall area of this shape is 8 centimetres squared. Okay, finally then, shape number 4. Again, I'm going to need to split it into different rectangles. So, if I split this, and I can see a rectangle here, I should be able to work out the area. So, this rectangle here is 3 by 1. Now, because my box is quite small, I'm just going to draw an arrow and remind myself that that bit there has an area of 3 centimetres squared. Okay, this one here, 2 centimetres by 3 centimetres is 6 centimetres squared. Now, this bit here is a little bit more complicated because I don't want to know the whole length. I only want to know from here to here. Now, if I know that this is 1, that measures 1, that's the same width up there. So I can do 10, take away 1, which would take that bit away there, which would make it 9. So I can do 9 multiplied by 2, and that is 18 centimetres squared. Okay, finally then I've got to add my 3 numbers together, my 3 different areas of my 3 rectangles. So 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 18 is 27. So the area to this rectilinear shape is 27 centimetres squared. Okay, I've got some examples for you to have a go at, so you may want to pause the video now whilst you try and have a go at those. Again, you can either draw them, copy them down and work them out, or you can work them out by using the examples on the screen. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at that. So the first one then, nice and simple one, I've got 8 times 1. So the length times the width, 8 times 1 is 8 centimetres squared. Don't forget that unit of measure. Okay, shape number 2 then. An easy one again. Length times the width, so I've got 4 times 10. So the area is going to be 40 metres squared that time. Okay, shape number 3, again, quite a complicated one here. So I need to split my different rectangles up. So I'm going to do this little bit up here. Okay, that's a nice easy one. So I've got 2 times 4. So that's 8 centimetres squared there. Right, here I've got, for this one down here, I've got 2 times. Now, okay, what you've got to do, I only want to know the bit from here up to my dotted line. I don't want to know this whole measurement. That would be 12. That's too much. That's taking me up to the top. So I need to do 12, take away the top chunk there. Well, if I know that that's 2, and that bit going down there's 4, 2 plus 4 is 6, which would be this bit at the top. I don't want to measure that. So 12 subtract 6 would leave me with 6. Okay, so this length here measures 6 centimetres. Now I can work out the area of this rectangle. So 6 times 2 is 12 centimetres squared. And then finally, this rectangle here, well, if I know that that bit's 4 to there, and I know the whole length of this is 8, then this bit is going to be 4 centimetres. And if I know that this bit is 2 across here, that would be 2 plus this bit here, 4. So this length here is going to be 6. So 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, so 24 plus 8 is 32, plus 12 is 44. So the area to this shape is 44 centimetres squared. Okay, and lastly then, again I've got to split it up into different rectangles. So if I start at this one down here, 4 times 3, that's giving me 12 metres squared this time. This one over here, I know that that's 3 by 5. Remember not to do 3 by 4 or 5 by 4, because this 4 here is telling me the whole length from here to here, and I only want to know to the dotted line, which is 3. So 5 times 3 is 15 metres squared. Okay, this one here then. Now again, the same principle applies here. The whole bit's 4, I don't want to know that whole bit there, I only want to know to the dotted line, which is 3. So 3 times 5 again, that's 15 metres squared. So I'm only left with this rectangle in the middle then, aren't I? Okay, if I know that that's 5, this whole length going across, and I know that that bit's 3, then this bit down here must be 2. So 5 times 2 is 10 metres squared. And finally I can add up all of my measurements. So 15 plus 15 is 30, plus 10 is 40, plus 12 is 52. So my answer is 52 metres squared. Okay, hopefully you feel a little bit more confident now on finding the area of rectilinear shapes.